Like Senator Adams Oshomole was saying, that you need to consider where you're coming from and where you are before you're able to assess, what you're doing. In the time of 24 months, do you think that that mark below 50 you've given, we could see is a fair mark? But also, I wanted to ask you about the political direction of the administration. How do you describe that? When I say political direction, I mean democracy, civil space.
Yeah. Okay, so let's first stay on the half-year mark, whether it's significant. Look, you can assess anybody, for example, we do 100 days assessment. It's an assessment. So this assessment does not preclude where he will land in the second half of his tenure. It simply says right now, he is, if you define economic management, what Dudley Sear says, 3 indicators: what's happening to poverty, what's happening to inequality, what's happening to employment. We're doing very badly. Poverty is growing, inequality is growing, unemployment, even with the rebasing of inflation, we are still about 24%. Okay, if you look at unemployment, even with the rebasing, we are still significantly unemployment. Youth unemployment, some states have more. So these indicators, they are not very good. But again, if you just consider these reforms as bold, Nigerians talk about bold, but the question is, are they wise? I don't think that floating the Naira the way we did was wise, considering that we're not an export. But some people argue that where Buhari left him, there was no fiscal space to do anything, manage float or the subsidy, to face the removal of subsidy, because the fiscal space was shrunken by Buhari's mismanagement. But again, it's ironic, because this is the president who says, I will continue where and so in this going to second campaign,
be careful for what you wish
exactly, his people are now fighting hard to hit Buhari and said the economy was very damaged, it was a repair job we did. So, but now moving to politics, I think that where the president has failed big is, after Buhari, he needed to create a new platform, reframing, and 3 things were required. One, the Buhari presidency was a lot divisive, issues of ethnicity, 97 versus 5% and all that. So the president had an opportunity to create a more inclusive governance. Today we're still talking about allegation of the federal civil service appointment dominated by one section. I don't think he has done enough to recreate that national unity. I think that secondly, corruption has been an issue, and from where he's coming from, allegations around corruption, issues about alleged drug, alleged and that, the president needed to set a different tone, and that shows by staffing. The people he brought to government should deliberate with persons who carry some degree of credibility. But we saw at the beginning that he was ruffled by what happened in the humanitarian ministry. So this idea of lack of transparency has continued. But the biggest issue here is the democracy, and that the River State remains a problem because it was unnecessary. He could have resolved that problem without truncating democracy. So if you ask me, half year is not the end of the tenure. There's room for improvement. But I would say that he has done well if you consider where it's coming from in terms of Buhari economically, but the impact has not been felt, and the policies need to be, you have to rethink those policies to give them the level of capability they have. And again, politically, I don't think he has performed well.
So the big question here is, 2 years into this Bola Tinubu's administration, the big question is, are we heading in the right direction? This renewed hope agenda, is it actually renewed hope, or like the P-Square twins said it, is renewed shaggy? Are we heading in the direction of renewed hardship, packaged as renewed hope? Is Bola Tinubu, leading Nigeria in the direction of Buhari? Let me put it a better way. Is Bola Tinubu continuing from where Buhari left off, or Nigeria is in the better hands under this Bola Tinubu's administration? What is your say? When you look at indicators to measure success 2 years into this current Tinubu's administration, when you look at the level of poverty in Nigeria, level of unemployment in Nigeria, the mass, folding of jobs, the cost of electricity, the increase in taxes, the lack of infrastructure, healthcare, folding hospitals. When you look at all these parameters, would you say Nigeria is heading in the right direction? Let's don't forget security anyway. So, but before we break all of these things down, if you're meeting this content for the first time, please like, share, and make sure you subscribe. If you've been following us and you've not yet subscribed, please do subscribe, like, share, and also be part of the commentaries as well. Be part of the comment section. This channel belongs to all of us. And let us know your thoughts as well. But make sure you watch this to the end. So I asked these questions earlier. Are we heading in the right direction? Are we really, is there hope when you look at this Bola Tinubu's administration? When you look at it from 2 years back, in the direction that he's taking Nigeria, is there hope ahead for us to say that we should be patient with Bola Tinubu because of the hardship, that in the end, it will pay off? Remember, that's what Buhari told Nigerians too. Is that what you really feel? Or you're just looking forward to 2027 when you can vote this government out of power? Has APC really done Nigeria well? From Bola Tinubu to Buhari, have they really done Nigeria well? Or we're heading in the wrong directions? When you look at the policies of the government, the money policies, the floating of the Naira, whether it was the right time or not, the subsidy removal, whether it was the right time or not, or it was the right way. When you look at the policies of security, if there is any, the policy of our financial policies, if you look at our foreign direct investment, when you look at parameters with which you use to measure success of the government, how would you grade this current government? How would you grade this current government? More people have now been thrown into poverty. More businesses have left Nigeria. More businesses have closed. Security is worse. Healthcare is nothing to write home about. But yet the government says their policies are working. Now, when the government make policies, it's the people that feel it. So we, the people, and you, the people, I'm asking, are you feeling the positive nature of this government, or there's nothing positive about it? Is it really truly renewed hope, or it is renewed hardship, renewed pain? When you look at Bola Tinubu's administration, do you really think they know what they're doing? People are saying that Wike is doing very well in Abuja. Some people are criticizing David Umahi, obviously the Minister of Works, and saying the focus is just all Calabar motorway, Lagos Calabar motorway. What is your take? When you look at the infrastructure development in Nigeria since 2023, is there anything to write home about under this government? Let's look at security. More people are dying in Nigeria's northwest, northeast. More people are dying under this government's administration, and there's no solution for it. Insecurity rampant across the entire nation. People are afraid to go out in the night. But yet the government says their policies are working. People can't afford what they used to be able to afford before. But the government says their policies are working. The floating of the Naira, the devaluation of the Naira, if you look at the interest rate today, the government says it's working, that they've been able to stabilize Nigeria and the Nigerians' Naira, that things are coming back down as well again. So when you look at the price of these goods and commodity, based on what the government is saying, that things are dropping, the prices of things are coming down back, and there's now food security. When you compare this, what the prices are now, and to what the prices were before it took over, what would you say about it? Is it really renewed hope, or is renewed hardship? Because they always argue that the prices are coming down, but they don't say this is where we met it before. So what is your take? How would you qualify this government? When you look at it from 1 to 100, what is your percentage markings for it? Will it be 50%? Will it be 30%? Will it be fail? Will it be pass? Will it be extra good? How would you grade this government? It's 2 years on. Is Nigeria really heading in the right direction under this Bola Tinubu's administration? Or are we continuing from where Buhari left off? Are we in the right direction? When you look at Bola Tinubu's campaign promises and you look at his actual performance, do they marry? When you look at the state of the economy, when you look at our healthcare, security, and our infrastructure, do they really marry? When you look at corruption, where corrupt politicians have been accused of corruption, for them to face judgment, they defect to join the APC, and nothing is heard about it anymore. Are we really in the right direction? I have always argued that Bola Tinubu cannot fix corruption in Nigeria because it was corruption that gave birth to his administration. It was not Nigerians. It was corruption that gave birth to this administration. So the question is, can Bola Tinubu fix corruption? When you look at the corruption level in Nigeria since he took over, is there anything to show that there's progress in it? Because he said in his campaign promise it was going to reduce corruption. Has it been reduced yet, or has it gone up again? So we're looking at all of these markers, and I'm asking you this question. How would you judge this government? And you look at inequality, where there's one rule for the rich and another rule for the poor. When you look at this the inequality, when somebody speaks up against the government, they're hounded down in the nighttime. Look at the case of Senator Natasha Akpoti and Godswill Akpabio and Yaya Bello. The government is actually suing Akpoti on behalf of Akpabio and Yaya Bello. That's the kind of inequality we're talking about. They are both government and public servants, but the government is suing another person on behalf of these two other people. When an allegation was made, they should take the case to court themselves, but the government is suing on behalf of Akpabio and Yaya Bello. The same Yaya Bello has been accused of serious crimes, and he's been caught as a witness in it. So look at unemployment as well. Look at the inflation level. Look at our foreign direct investment, which there's nothing to write home about. Nigeria has lost so much money under this government. So look at it. So I'm asking you all of these questions. I want us to get into the comment section and deliberate and have a conversation about it. As we normally do with serious and intelligent conversation, let's have this conversation. So what is your take? Do you think that Bola Tinubu is taking Nigeria in the direction of Buhari? Or do you think that this renewed hope is possible under Bola Tinubu? What is your take? Again, if you're meeting this content for the first time, please like, share, and subscribe. If you've been following us and you've not yet subscribed, please do so. I will catch you up in the next video. Bye-bye for now. God bless you.